Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Weekly Paper Crafting Live. Wow, I hope the stream is okay because I was glitching on my end. Oh, I'm going to go look because we can't have that. Happy Friday. It's Friday, December the 12th, 2025, and welcome to our Weekly Paper Crafting Live here. Christy in hysterics watching Vlogmas. Love the dog shenanigans during whip go. Okay, was obviously while filming that, Christy had no idea what Odin was doing in the background. As I was editing my video to put it up, and I see him over there digging the blanket, I am still glitching on my end. Oh, I hope that it's not doing that on you guys' end. It says my connection is excellent. Okay, you guys let me know. So anyway, yeah, it was funny watching what Odin was getting up to behind me. Hello, it's so good to see all of you here today. Hello, hello. Best time of workday on Friday to watch your lives. Thank you, Kara. That's so sweet. Fine now. Okay, good. Yeah, it's not doing it for me now, but right when I hit go, well, not when I hit go, when the screen came to me, I was like, oh, uh-oh. Yay, let's see. Alana says she gets to make a live today because she's in vacay mode. Hey, that sounds amazing. Amazing. And Monique is not buying anything new. You know what? You can just come hang out. There is no need to buy anything. Okay, you guys. Happy Friday. Is everybody's Christmas shopping done? Because mine is not. I'm a little scared, to be honest. Hello, Annie. Oh, you're so sweet. So nice to see you, my friend. Thank you. Libby, hello. Hi, Cassie. I'm so glad that you're loving Vlogmas. I'm having a great time putting it together for you guys. So much fun. And it's really fun to revisit like all of the like past things that I've made and done and all of that good stuff. And just to the things I get up to on a regular basis. I will say the one there's lots of good things about Vlogmas, but the best thing is it really shows me that I get a lot more done than I think I get done. Because sometimes I am not sometimes, I'm always my own worst critic. Christy says, thank you for Enable Vision. Bought yourself a new stitching stand. Fantastic. I am a giver. Christy, I am here for you. You know this, my friend. Had some glitching, just went in and out. Yeah, it's telling me my connection is good. You guys, but I can see it. I can see it happening, but it does say it's good. So I'm going to carry on for now. And, you know, technology is just a lovely, wonderful thing. Where did this week go? Right? So I did a whole bunch of Christmas shopping before bed last night, but I need to do a little bit more. If we didn't have online shopping, I don't know what I would do. Okay, so today we're going to create, I'm still glitching. We are going to create a fun 5x7 Christmas card today. I had this idea. I have like played around with the components to make sure it was going to work the way I thought, but I am going to completely reveal it live today. Impressed. Oh, thank you so much, Christy. That's so sweet of you. Hi, Judy. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are loving all the cross stitch. So just a reminder, I've promised you guys that each Friday during my live, I will share my December daily progress. So I will show that at the end of the video today. Christmas shopping for you or others. Oh, Tabitha, it's only for others now. Look, my Christmas shopping for me must be over. I had such a good time. And now I'm like, well, I couldn't get lists from anybody. And now I have some lists, but it is just like what is in stock and what can I grab real fast. Okay, if the live is fine with you guys' feed, I'm just not going to worry about it. All right, so I'm going to do a little picture-in-picture action. Let's talk about what we are using today. I am using a lot of Simon Says Stamp product, but we are going to combine a little bit of Spellbinders in here. Just one thing, I think, from Spellbinders. But you know my philosophy. I love to mix and match. So, a little glitchy, but it looks rather funny. Yeah, that's real frustrating. because like everything says it's fine on my end, but it's very glitchy. I'm wondering if this is a YouTube thing. Since it says my connection is fine. Okay, we're going to go through what I'm using today. Yeah, on to shopping for the grandchildren. I don't have any of those, so it's just my children and they're difficult. I wish I had grandchildren. So what we're using is this warm mug stencil, which is this wonderful stencil set here. And there's a coordinating die. And you can see I've already pre-die cut the hands and the mug. And we're going to do something really fun with that. So I'm going to move this over here for now. That's kind of one of the centerpieces, focal points of our video. Audio is totally fine, just the video being glitchy. Carry on, Libby. That's what you're here for. And I'm not even working for you today. Thanks, Libby. Okay, so the other focal point today is, let's show you on this. This is this gorgeous Fawn Surprise embossing folder with coordinating die. And I have already embossed this, and I have already die cut and embossed the individual deer. I did color one off camera. These are going to be used on our card as well. And you might be thinking that how are these two things going to go together? Because we have a rather big mitten and mug, and then we have this A2 sized background, and we're making a 5x7 card. Stick with me. I'm pretty excited about this. So I've also pulled out, this is a sentiment stamp set we're going to use. This is called Stacked Holiday Sentiments. I'm going to move that to the side for now. So I have also pulled out this Crackle embossing folder from Spellbinders. And then I have pulled out the A2 arches and the more A7 rectangles. So what we're doing, I've taken a rectangle, the largest size rectangle, so I can have a 5x7. I've taken a couple of sizes of my domed arches, and I went ahead and die cut. Let's see if there we go. I die cut my rectangle, I die cut the arch from it, and then I ran it through my Crackle embossing folder. I wanted this to maybe look like textured walls. Then I took that same size of arch and 2 sizes bigger to make my window casing. Do you guys know what I'm making yet now? So then here's a little pre-color. We're going to color on the live today. We're going to have our deer outside while Santa is sipping inside of the house and looking out at his reindeer. I think it's going to be super, super cute. We're also going to use a piece of acetate behind here so that we can stamp our sentiment. It'll be up in this open part of our window. So let's just take all of my little pre-stenciled and things out of the way. I thought it was someone's rear end and fumes coming out. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, no. I mean, that might be somebody's card making live, but that's not going to be my card making live. Okay, let's start with the wall inside of our house first, actually. And I do want to give it a little bit of color. And I also want to give a little bit of extra inking to our window casing, which was die cut from some wood grain craft cardstock. So it has nice texture to it. But let's start with the walls in our house. And we're going to just do a light inking of these with some latte colored, Pawsitively saturated ink. And I am going to use a big blending brush for this. So we're just going to go in and add some nice color, but I want it to be fairly minimal. And those raised areas from the Crackle or from our texturized walls, let's say, are going to pick up a little bit more color than the rest. Christy, stop it. How can you be so creative during this busy time? Okay, so you guys, here's my philosophy on creativity. And this is not a new idea. I've heard other creatives say this too. The more creative you are, the more creative you become. So when you feed that, I do think that that is what helps you continue being creative. No matter what kind of creative you are, like if you design or you make cards or quilts or jewelry, candles, I don't know, whatever you guys make. I just think the more you do, the more creative you are. Okay, let's see if I think this is going to be enough. We're going to actually pull this back in. I don't really want to be too crazy with this, but it's paper. I can always, you know, is this going to be too dark? Hold please while I look. Yeah, it's going to be too dark. That's just going to be hidden underneath the window frame. I think I'm going to leave it just like this for now. Okay, so our window casing here, I'm going to take a little scorched tinder. Tabitha, thank you so much for this super chat. That's so sweet of you. Let me zoom in a little bit. I think I'm still zoomed out from... Aw, Christy, thank you for the super chat. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. So I'm going to take my little mini ink pad and go direct to paper here because those raised areas in our frame are going to pick up the color. Oops, don't do that. And then all of the, you know, kind of debossed areas obviously are going to maintain that other color a little bit more. Okay, now that I see my window casing color, we are for sure going to go in and I'm going to add a little cappuccino on top of this latte because I think it needs to be darker. It looks a little too yellow for me, so we're going to just add a little cappuccino, and I do think I'll probably add a little mocha. It's kind of what I was thinking, but I want to take it slow. All right. Can I get a Nichol for Christmas? Man, if we could clone me, I would keep the clones because I have some stuff I would like to accomplish. And just one Nichol is not achieving all that she wants. Okay, I'm going to take a little mocha now. And I'm going to keep this, I think, a little bit more just around the edges. Actually, I'm so glad I'm adding a little bit deeper, darker color because that's really drawing out the awesome crackle effect of this embossing folder. How cool is this embossing folder? I love it. Okay, now I'm going to look at my little window here. Oh, and little Santa's hands. That's going to be cute. Okay, let me clean up. I love ink blending. I have a hard time leaving things plain. Well, obviously, I have a hard time leaving things plain, too. There are some makers who are absolutely amazing at keeping things plain, but it's not this girl. Hi, Donna. Okay. Let me get a little glue. And we're going to glue our window casing inside of our little house. And then we're going to start working on the outside. And then we're going to finish with the Santa hands and mug. He's enjoying his hot cocoa, contemplating. He's contemplating the big night is kind of my thought process. You know me and my little stories about whatever's going on these cards. Okay. I like it because it kind of looks like an old, like inside of an old building, home, whatever. Hello, Louisa. It does kind of look like brick texture. I thought I think I do have one. I can't find it. I thought I had a big embossing folder. Oops. Especially since I'm doing a 5x7 card. I thought I had a big embossing folder of brick. I can't find it. I do have stencils I could have put together. So I just went ahead and I remembered I had this one and I'm like, oh, I like that. So we're going to use it. Okay, next thing. We're going to work on building the background that is going on outside. And what I like to do, because we aren't utilizing the entire thing, but what I kind of did when I was looking at this was, whoops, let me tilt it so you can see it a little better. It's going to probably get, some of it's going to get chopped off just a little bit. Well, maybe not. I think it'll maybe go back behind the whole thing. But we want to have it where the deer are the most visible. I mean, he's looking outside. So that's kind of the viewpoint per se that I'm looking at. So it's going to kind of look like so. I want to maintain as much of his hands and everything as possible. So when looking at this, my whole point in telling you is we don't have to color the whole thing. So what I'm looking at is, what do I have to color? Pretty much anything over here, we're not going to see a lot of it. And there's going to be this tree up in this corner that I don't need to worry about either. So we're going to start, and the deer are going to be separate. Obviously, I already have one of them, and we will color the other. And I am going to use Olo markers, and I have listed all of these downstairs. No, not downstairs. I've listed these in the description box. That'd be bad if they were only in my downstairs. Actually, hold one moment. Let's do the sky first. For my sky, I'm using BG 7.2 and then 7.0. So we're going to start with 7.2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of trace out the sky, kind of like this, and I'm going to go around my trees. Just like this. And I don't worry too much about being super particular, to be honest. And I like starting here with my light color. That way I can go over like the tree trunk and the green of my pine trees, etc., and kind of fix anything that maybe I didn't color like my best. Like, I'm not coloring my best right now. I need to do better. There we go. How adorable are the deer? Love the texture you get from the Simon Says Stamp embossing folders. Yes, they are so good. Okay, so actually, now that I kind of have my outline, I'm just going to kind of take my 7.2 and I'm going to pull that color up a little bit all along that line. So it's kind of darker down near that, you know, kind of horizon line. And then I'm going to take, and I have my markers end to end with like a complementary or coordinating color. And we're going to pull that color up with the 7.0. Okay, what are we talking about the Pioneer Woman? Because I see Pawhuska in there and visiting the mercantile. It's so cool, isn't it? I went a couple years ago with a couple of friends and so much fun. They were actually filming the movie that's set around there with Leonardo DiCaprio. Dang it, what was that called? I read the book. I haven't even watched the movie. They were filming, though, when we were there, and it was really cool. Flowers of the Something Moon. What was that called? Now I'm stuck thinking of that. Let's see. Danae made it on time. Yes, you did, my friend. Hi, Larissa. So I'm just pulling up that lighter color, meeting where the darker color is, and then just kind of blending it down. Trust the process, basically. Just trust the process. Okay, I don't want to color anything that I don't have to. So I'm going to reference my little scene here, and that looks pretty good. I don't think I really need to hit too much more sky. Oh, Christy. Karen goes, we need to tell Christy the story about how we went to Pawhuska and saw Leonardo DiCaprio. That's true. Killers of the Flower Moon. Libby, thank you. Based on a true story, by the way, for anyone. And I listened to the audiobook of it. It was very fascinating. I didn't know anything about it. Okay, we're going to go in and do our pine trees now. So I'm going to use a little YG 8.7. If we need to come back for the sky, we'll do that in a little bit. I want to go ahead and hit my trees, and where they naturally overlap, that's where I want to keep my darker color. Except for up here at the top, I am going to add a little bit of dark. And I'm just going to kind of go in like this and kind of just feather it down. Again, don't worry. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Judy has it too. Yes, you guys all were getting it for me. Thank you. Almost thought I missed this, Amy says. You are here. The movie was amazing, Judy said. Okay, well, the book was really good. It was super interesting to see how they transformed Pawhuska, whatever, into a movie set. I don't know, never seen that. Out here in the old Midwest, we don't see that very often. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with YG 8.5. And I'm going to pull up from the bottom, and I'm going to be slightly more careful here, blending into that darker. And if you think you overblend, don't worry about it, because then we can go back with our dark color and add a little bit more detail in. So just like so. Yes, Madge says, it's a great girlfriend trip. It really is. I have a friend, we keep talking about it would be fun to like do a girlfriend's weekend there and maybe stay at the, I don't know what they call it, the hotel. It's kind of like a B&B. I don't know what it's called. But it looks cool. Have to get that cracked embossing folder. Isn't it amazing? I am a huge fan of basic embossing folders that can be used for a multitude of things. They're always my favorite. All right, so once we kind of blend out our tree, look how cute it looks, and you can see that darker area, but I've really taken and kind of got lost some of that detail, so I'm going to kind of light-handedly just grab it and feather to give my tree a little bit more texture, like so. Christy, I'm reading the chat and I know I've missed something. Did you go to her book signing? I almost came to Colorado. My daughter wanted me to, but I'm doing this Vlogmas, you know? And so I was like, oh, I'm not going to. But I saw that she was doing a book signing. Christy, if you went, I'm going to be so mad at myself for not going. That would have been so much fun. Okay, so I am pulling out this color. Oh, that has given our tree so much more texture. Look how cute. Everybody's going to Karen's. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing for my little tree because we are going to see this one. And we're going to go in with our dark color underneath. Now it's quite a bit smaller, so I'm just going to kind of quickly add that color in. Thank you so much. Tabitha's coming too. Yes. It is. Karen, are you sure you got enough guest rooms? Do we have bunk beds? All right. It's starting to take shape. It's worth the little bit of extra effort, in my opinion, to color in your embossing folder a little bit because I think it's going to be so much more interesting in the background. There, and I just added a little bit more dark in. Now there is another tree over here, but again, it's going to get covered up, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's do like a space check and make sure that we like how that's looking. Look how cute. Oh, dang it, Christy. I'm so mad I didn't go. Dang it. My daughter tried to get me to come. And I was like, oh, I don't want to. I knew it was going to be a mistake. Oops, that's snow. I think that's all snow. I think this was all supposed to be snow. Okay, before I do my tree, hold please. I'm going to go over this with my light color just to try to... it's the nice shadowing. It's the shadowing around our snow. We are not going to worry about it. I'm a not worrier kind of crafter. We just roll with it. Oh, you would never thought to color it. I love coloring them. I think they are so much fun. Okay, let's do our tree. And I'm actually going to double check this. I do need to do a little bit of it over here. Because I just colored and was kind of heavy with that marker and it's really light, that means it has a lot of the zero in it. I'm going to let that dry for just a second. I mean, it's probably dry now. And I'm going to skip over here and color just a little bit of this tree trunk that we might see, you know, a corner of. And then I think we're probably safe now. We'll go in and we're going to just add a little dark here, like so. And then we're going to, this tree trunk is quite a bit thicker, so I'm just going to carefully, and I don't worry too much. I mean, it just kind of easy coloring. Just follow those embossed lines, just like that. That looks great. Oh, Judy, you're so sweet. I missed the paper you used for this. Is it just the norm? It is. This is Nina 110-pound weight. In fact, everything today, I know this is a shock because I love my colored cardstock. Everything but my window frame casing is Nina today. Okay, so here's our scene so far. I also want to do, there's a little, see that little trail? I am going to go in and I am going to, almost like, you know, a little bit of the snow has melted away maybe. I'm going to go in with my light-ish brown color and I'm just going to kind of trace that like so. And then with my lighter color, so this is 7.3 and 7.1, I am just going to pull this out too. So it's almost like a little dirt path in the forest is basically what I'm thinking. And I'm not even going to color the whole thing. I don't think. We'll see. We're just going to lay that color down along the edges first. There we go. And I'm not worrying about my deer at all because we're going to replace those. And oh, Heidi says you make me want to get back to stitching. I love it. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take our 0 marker now, and I'm almost using it as my third color for blending. When I don't want something to be super dark, I will often take this because it kind of just blurs out the edges a little bit. We're just going to pull this out a little bit like so. You just kind of want to be careful with it, but I think that'll work. And then we're going to let that dry for just a second because then we're going to go in and emphasize the snow. Thank you, Judy. I'm glad you like the trees. Okay, I'm going to start up here where I haven't just colored, and we're going to emphasize just back with our BG 7.2 again, this kind of horizon line where the snow is. And I'm going to do that right here as well. Kind of make a little shadow around the tree right over here. And also along our path. Just a little bit. There we go. Let me see how much of this is going to see. How much we're going to see it. Oh, that looks good. Okay. Then I'm going to go back with that light marker, and we're not going to do like we did for the sky where we colored the whole thing. I just want to soften that kind of harsh edge from where I traced out some of those areas that are snow. So I'm just going over it with my light marker, and I'm not going to pull it out tons. Just kind of soften that a little bit where the snow meets the path and the horizon line. There we go. All right. Let's see how our outdoors looks. It's looking pretty good. Now we need some cute deer. Now we already have one, and I love that they're separate. You can pop them up if you want to. We are not going to pop them up today because we're going to pop up our frame. So I'm going to glue these colored, and it's a lot easier to color the deer. I'm going to color the other one, but we're going to glue this guy down. This one is like baby Rudolph, let's say, because I did give him a red nose. There we go. Look how cute. I love it. And you could even add like a little shading kind of under where his feet are. So I went in with my little dark color I used in that path, and I'm just going to blend that out. And then over here, kind of in the snow, we're going to go with our blue color. Monique is ooh and ah. It's when you add the deer in, I feel like that is when you're like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, so let me move this just for a second. And I have a different color combo for our deer. We're going to start with our dark color. Lots of shades of neutrals, but I just wanted to kind of keep them all a little bit different. Christy says, ooh, me too. Oh, thank you so much. So let's start with this one, and I'll show you how we get that effect. I'm going to go in with my dark color first, and kind of just trace out those areas. So I'm using 4.6. And we're just basically tracing the raised area like so, and where you think it would naturally be a little bit darker. I kind of like starting with the dark color because for me that feels almost like an outline, like a stamped outline. There we go. Now I'm thinking I should start making cards too. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the 4.3 now. And all of these areas I traced out with the 4.6, I am using my 4.3 to fill them in. We're going to keep those areas that are of our deer that are going to be lighter and not going to worry about those quite yet. Want to give a really good shading to the rest of our deer. So I'm saturating my cardstock basically with my marker. And if you're working on a glass surface, you can easily clean it with like a little rubbing alcohol. It'll come right off. That's what I like to do. And then I am going to go with a little more dark there. And once I kind of like that, I'm going to go in with my 4.3 and very lightly trace out those areas that are white. And you can see I'm not super neat about it. Then we're going to take 4.0, which is very light. Whoops. And I'm going to color those areas in. And the 4.3 then is acting like my dark color in those areas. And we just want to fill those in like so. So even if you think your coloring maybe is a little questionable, because sometimes you have to trust the process. At first you might think, oh, I don't know. But then once you get going, it looks really cute. Then we're going to give this one a dark nose. So I'm just going to go in with that dark color for that one, just like so. And there is our little deer. Now, if you see things that you don't particularly love, the great thing about coloring with alcohol ink markers is you can go back over it. So like I want a little extra shading in a couple of areas. So I'm going to add a little more dark and blend out with my lighter tone. Just like that. There we go. Working on Valentine's cards now. I'm not ready. When I considered what to do today, I thought, because a lot of Valentine's stuff is here, and I thought, you know what? I'm still in holiday season, holiday mood. So I hope you guys like a little bit more Christmas before we dive into Valentine's. All right. I know I had it out, but I don't know where it went. There it is, slid over here. Okay, then let me clean off the tip of my black pen. What we're going to do is where the eye is, I am just going to go in and do a little black. And I'm going to leave it for a minute, and we will come back and give a little highlight to the eye. I do want to show you. There is the deer I already colored. And Maria says, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm just not quite ready yet. I'm sure we'll get there and it'll get too close to Christmas and, you know, whatever. But for now, I am still in Christmas crafting mode. So I thought, well, we are just going to Christmas craft. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my card, and then I will add in the eye here in a minute. Karen says she always makes a ton of Christmas cards over her holiday break. Yes. Who else likes to craft in season, no matter what craft you're doing? Oh, look how cute. Okay, let's add a little bit of our shading here. I probably should see. I don't like this one. That was not the one I meant to use. Neither of these are the ones I meant to use. Here we go. Thank you, Patricia. Monique says she does. Me too. Okay. We'll just start with this. I can't remember quite how much of this is going to get seen, but I think enough of it. Let's grab our frame. Yep, I think that's good. Let's do a little shading here, like so. There we go. Just like that. Oh yeah, Heidi goes, had to make our Christmas cards in July. How hard is that in the heat? That is rough. Okay, so here is how our background looks. How cute are our little deer out in the forest. Now, before we put that part together, we need a little bit of snow outside, right? So we're going to use a little white splatter. I can do Christmas in July. I agree. I do like the Christmas in July. And I mean, we start making Christmas cards pretty early in the paper crafting world. So it is, you know, I have been doing them for a while. I just couldn't quite bring myself in the live to do Valentine's yet. Maybe by next week I'll feel like it. Okay, I'm going to take a little white splatter and I'm going to start up here in the sky. On the trees. Let me get a little bit more. There we go. Because it needs to be snowing. Right? I think that looks good. Oh, Judy, thank you. Bambi vibes. 100%, Danae. All right. Don't let me forget to put that white highlight in the eye, but I need to let that dry for a minute. Okay, so we are going to work while this is drying on Santa. His hands holding the mug. I mean, it could be anybody. I just imagined it as Santa. White pen. Let's see. Is it Alicia? This, or is it Alicia? This is a Corrine white pen. It is my favorite one, and it's the same company that sells Olo, sells this pen. Okay. We're going to take our mugs, and what I find works best with this is to die cut the shape first. So we have die cut, actually goes like this. And then we're going to use the layering stencils to add our color. And I am going to start with the mittens first. And on our stencil, it does tell you mittens, mitten shading, and the mitten cuffs. So I'm just simply going to start here with the mittens, and I chose to do my mittens in green because I really wanted the contrast. A lot of times I like Santa's mittens in black, but for this, I wanted them. I just got snow all over my acetate like I knew I would. I really wanted the contrast and the additional color, if that makes sense. Let's see. Bambi vibes and Rudolph. 100%. I was totally channeling both of those for this. So the ink colors we're going to use for our mittens are a combination of artichoke and kale. And we're going to start with the light color first and kind of talk through adding the color for this. So I'm going to take this artichoke color and we're going to go in, and I'm using a bigger blending brush since it's a little bit bigger surface area. In fact, I don't know that I used a detail blender for any of this. You could. And we're just going to add in our light color first. Heidi says she wishes some stitched designs could be die cuts. There would be some really cool ones if that was the case, for sure. Okay, now before we move our stencil, I know already the shading that I'm using for Santa's gloves is going to be kale, and it's going to be a lot darker. And what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the kale and add it over this area first before we add that shading in. Otherwise, it's going to be a really drastic change. So kind of naturally by the cuffs here, we're just going to go in and add a little bit of the kale color, kind of where that shading is going to be next to up here. We're just going to add in little touches of our kale color, pardon me. Let's do that over here as well. I don't want to completely cover up that artichoke color, but instead I want to just have that more of that depth and dimension from the shading. Sent chocolate packs with die cut mugs this year. Oh, how fun. Okay. Then we're going to peel this up. I am working on one of the craft mats from Simon Says Stamp today, so it helps hold my stencil in place. Then we're going to line up the second part of our little gloves or mittens here. And that's going to be the shading part with a kale ink. That is a real Christmas green, yes. And I'm going to go in pretty heavy-handed because this is kind of like the palm area of our mittens and that shaded area. We're just going to only do the kale ink for this. And look at that. So it still shows the dark, even though we added a little dark to that other area. We're going to flip it around, and we're going to do the cuffs for Santa. Oh, goodness. Yay. I'm so glad, Donna. You'll have so much fun making them. So Donna's talking about these, right? Mine are actually sitting right here. Okay. So for the cuffs on Santa's coat, I wanted to talk about this. I want them to maintain that quote-unquote white color. Ignore that little thing of red. That's why this had to get redone anyway. I am going to use flannel Pawsitively saturated ink to only add shading around the edges. The rest of it is going to maintain, kind of that center area is going to maintain the white color. So to do that, we're going to grab our flannel ink, which is a really light gray, and we are going to start kind of off of the open space and pull that color in just around the edges. We only barely want to hit those areas with our light gray ink. Let me take a dry rag. I should have cleaned up my green before I did this. Don't want to pull green in here. And if you want, you can do a little bit around this edge too. I didn't really do too much there. It's not really going to look like we added a whole lot. And that is what we want. Amy says now she wants hot chocolate. Me too. Okay. So when I pull it off and you can see the white, even though it looked like there wasn't a lot there, see how it adds that color in nicely? Okay, we're going to move on to stencil 2. And I'm going to do my reds first. We're going to line up the sleeves on Santa's jacket. And for this, I pulled 2 colors from 2 different trio of inks from Simon Says Stamp. I love the cranberry, but when I put the apple with it, it was too bright. I needed something that was a little more Christmassy. So we're going to go all over this with cranberry, and then we're going to add shading with a little bit of brick. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad that your Bible study auction went well. That's fantastic. Congratulations. Mitzi, I'm glad you're here. So I'm going to go in first with my cranberry. And we're just going to go all over. Give a nice base to work from. And I'm using very heavy hand. Just like that. Laura says, I like the white border after stenciling with ink. Yes, and I like that it's not super wide. Okay, now we're going to go in with brick. And just kind of like we did with the mittens, we're going to try to concentrate that. And actually, I'm a little nervous that I'm going to mess up. Just going to use my foam adhesive sheets to help protect what I've already done. Okay, so I'm going around the edges, kind of hitting those corners with my brick color. I don't want to cover the whole thing up. I just want that natural kind of dark areas. Yeah, Christy just got some Tim Holtz fabrics. Christy, you are going to love them. Okay, so I'm going to peel this up carefully. And look how cute. Isn't that fun? Okay, I'm going to clean my stencil really quick. Amy goes, I'm having hot chocolate tonight, maybe with a hint of marshmallow vodka. That sounds good. I don't know that I've ever had that. When working with red of any kind, I do find it's best to kind of keep things clean. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that, even though I'm going to use red again. I just, worry. Definitely don't want to get any red where it doesn't belong. All right, we are going to do the mug itself. We're going to work on our mug now. Can I use any type of ink to blend? Some work better than others. Yes, yes, for the most part. Tabitha, are you sure that you're okay? Did you just say you can't buy any more fabric? All right, I'm going to use a little brick ink. And we're just going, it's a pretty thin mug, so I'm only going to use the dark brick color. And all of this red and green really helps provide some pops of color to an otherwise very neutral card. Hello, Laura. Melanie says reds and pinks always seem to stick around and get everywhere. This is true. Oh, it's taken shape. Okay, I'm going to clean this again. I'm just using a little rubbing alcohol and a cloth to easily get rid of that color. And I make sure that I wipe off the front and the back really well and make sure it's all the way dry. Oh, thank you so much for this super chat. That's so nice of you. Thank you, Bobbin with Brittany. All right, let's go ahead and do our hot cocoa. Maybe with marshmallow vodka, maybe not. No judgment. It is going to have some marshmallows in it. So for this, we're going to use 2 colors of brown. I'm going to use cappuccino and mocha, of course. Also, cocoa from Simon Says Stamp would be fantastic. I'm going to start with cappuccino. And we're going to go in really heavy-handed here. We want a rich, dark chocolate, right? Amy says, just starting her fabric stash. It is so addictive. I love fabric. I need to love using fabric. I always think of, like, from Elf, when he says, make smiling your favorite, the guy that works at the department store. I'm always like, make using what you have your favorite. Not new stuff, Nicole. These are little things I tell myself. Okay, we're going to move up. And we're going to add the fun little decorative swirl in here. So the swirl is actually what we just created. And then when we go in with the dark color, it's going to make the rest of this kind of much darker. So I am going to hold that with my finger because it's a little loosey-goosey. And this is the mocha. And we're just going to make sure we get this covered really well. Like so. Aw, thank you so much, Larissa. Regina says, I only have so much room in my she shed, but I want all the things. Girl, right? I think we are all right there with you. Okay, so here is my mug. So cute. We are going to do the steam now, and just like the cuffs of our jacket, I want this to be that nice, light, pale gray. So we're going to go back to our flannel color underneath all the other colors. I'm going to load up my blending brush, and I'm going to concentrate the color coming right off of, I say color, it's so light, coming off the mug, and then just kind of lightly come up. So kind of darker down here at the base, and then just lighten my hand as I come up. And we can always line it back up. That's the great thing about stencils. But when I remove it, you can see it. You can see that little bit of definition. That's perfect. Okay, we only have one last thing to stencil on here, and then we can kind of pull it all together. Fabric is like paper to scrapbookers. They talk to you and the piles get bigger and bigger, Mitzi said. 100%. Okay, we are going to do some marshmallows in our mug. And I thought the best way to do marshmallows was to use a white pigment ink and a pouncer, which is exactly what I did. So it almost looks like they're, you know, dissolving into our mug of hot cocoa. All of the fun, boozy, hot chocolate ideas. Barbara, question about the jingle ball finishes. Email, Barbara. Email would be the best right now if you want it answered right away. So I'm just going to load up my pouncer and pounce that white pigment ink right over that. No, Madge, I do not always do a practice run. Only when I want my live to go super smoothly, or if I haven't played with a product before, I wanted to make sure for the coloring of the background, I wanted to make sure that I liked the colors. And for the stenciling, I wanted to make sure that I was familiar with the order that I wanted to do them in. But no, that's a very good question. I do not always do a trial run. So I'm going to carefully peel this up now. And now we have our outdoor scene and we have our little Santa. So let me get rid of my sticky mat so everything doesn't stick to it. And let's go ahead and fix our eye. I have two hobbies, using my craft supplies and buying them. They are two different hobbies, and I also have both of them. So I'm going to do a little white highlight here on the nose and just a little here in the eye. It's a little thing, but I think it's important. Okay, what we're going to do next is I'm going to grab a tape runner. Oh, don't break up with your sewing machine. Just put it in timeout for a little bit. We're going to take a tape runner, and on the back of our frame, just around this opening, I think I trimmed down this piece of acetate. Whoops, that is not good. Just about, I don't know, it's probably A2 sized. This is some Simon Says Stamp acetate. I also like the Hero Arts acetate a lot. But we want to make sure that it's right back here behind our window, and it doesn't need to be the full length of the card. So there is our little acetate window. Decided I'm more of a collector. We are all collectors. Ah, Kathleen, thank you so much. So what we're going to do now is try to find our Misty that I thought it should be right here. Did I put it somewhere else? Oh, good grief. One moment, everybody. Oh no, it's in here. It's like, I always put it away, so I always know where my favorite one is. Okay. We're not going to attach this yet because stamping over that embossed background might not give us a good impression, but I am going to use it as a guide. So I'm just going to kind of put this down for now, like that. And I'm going to lay my sentiment over this very upper part of the window. And then I'm going to look at my Santa gloves, and that looks pretty good. That's pretty much what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead, remove all of that so we're stamping on a nice flat surface. Shirley says her husband calls her the collector of collections. I love that. Christy says, I love being a multi-crafter. Me too, Christy. Me too. Okay, I want to make sure that's straight. When you're stamping on acetate, you're going to want to use a solvent ink. And of course, my favorite is Cotton White Stays On. I have black as well, but the white gets used probably 95% of the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to ink up, and we're going to make sure it's good and inked. I'd really like to just be a one and done stamp for this. And we're going to ink or stamp that right on what's going to be the window looking outside at his reindeer. Oh, perfect. Not perfect is that my acetate is stuck in my Misty. That's okay. We can fix it. Super sticky. All right. There is our window. Let me get off anything inside of here. We should have a collector's club. Hi, Donna. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at this, and it is going to be popped up just like so. Look how cute. You could make this a shaker. I'm not going to, but you could make this a shaker if you wanted. So what I need to do first is we're going to make a card base, because I actually don't have any pre-made 5x7 card bases. So I am going to use my Spellbinders trimmer to take a piece of white cardstock and go ahead and make my card base. So we're going to go and we're going to make this 10 inches by 7. And what I love about this trimmer is it cuts, like you can see here, and then we're going to place it on that 5-inch mark. And instead of using the gray cutting blade, this one right here, I'm going to move that one out of the way, and I'm going to use my white scoring blade to score my card base. And it just scores it. Oh, my camera didn't like that close up. So that it gives it a nice little start. I'm having trouble finding all my supplies today, even though I know darn good and well they're all in here. Here we go. Then we're just going to take our bone folder and make sure that our crease is nice. Okay. So from here, we have the rectangle I used to cut this out is just a tiny, tiny bit smaller than 5x7. So it's going to leave us with a nice little white border. But I want to figure out my placement for this piece because it's going to be adhered right on to my card base. You'll give her permission to buy that last one. Donna made those beautiful seashells, you guys. Donna, is it like paper napkins or tissue paper and you decoupaged it in the seashells? Am I correct about that? So I am going to adhere this pretty close. Let me double check. Yes, up at the top. Let me double check before I press that down. So I'm going to shift it just a tiny bit over. It's just slightly offset. Like that. Yes. All right. Let me fix my acetate here. There we go. Okay, then we're going to take some foam. They are so beautiful. Paper napkins, Donna said. So what Donna did was she took paper napkins, like pulled apart the layers, I'm pretty sure is what she told me, and then decoupaged them in the seashells. It was so pretty. They're absolutely gorgeous. And it's a really beautiful presentation. All right. Would make great gifts. Lots of love for them, Donna. In the chat. I love that. So I'm going to just put some nice foam all the way around. Because I like a little bit of, I like when I've stamped my greeting on the acetate, I generally like it to not be flat on to whatever the background is. And then we're going to go in here and just pop that up like so. Ta-da! How cute is that? All right, and then we just need to figure out kind of where we want this to go. so that it looks like Santa is in his house looking out at the beautiful wintry scene. And I think I like this. And I am actually going to glue this right to this. We don't want to add any more foam. And we will need to trim off a little bit of the sleeves, but that is okay. So let's just go ahead. And make sure that we're getting this how I want it to look. There we go. Like that. I have a friend that always finds the best paper napkins at thrift stores. Wow. Donna says this card has her name all over it. I will keep that in mind. All right, we're going to flip it over. And we're going to snip off everything hanging off the edge. It's not that much. And I probably could have gone put this just a tiny bit lower actually, because I don't really want to see that white part. Hold please while I make a small adjustment of something I don't like. Donna says at Amazon you can buy 5 or 1 at a time of napkins. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I put this too low. Oh. We might have a little bit of that white showing, and it might just have to be what it is. Oh, I put the wrong one on here. This is the one with the red smudge. We're starting over. This is the correct one, the one that we did during the live. Whoopsies. There was a reason I didn't use this one. It's because it has a red smudge on it. See? It's not that bad, but it's not what I like, so... We're going to just start over with this portion, and maybe I can get this lined up a little bit better. I just don't really want a whole lot of that white showing. I don't mind that it kind of goes over a little bit of the letters in the sentiment as long as it's not 100% covering up any letter. Okay, we're going to start over. Like that. And I'm going to leave it. Maybe grit paste for the marshmallows. That would be cute. Let's try it. I'm game. We're going to do it. And we're just going to go for it too. What I'm going to do though, is I'm going to lay out that to protect my work surface. And now I have to start making Christmas cards. Oh, Monique, I'm glad. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit of this grit paste. Don't mess it up. Is everybody screaming at their screen? Don't mess it up. And there's our little poofy marshmallows. Okay, let me hold that up for you guys. And there we go. So cute and such a fun little wintry scene card. It looks like Santa's hanging out in his house looking out at the wintry landscape with those sweet little deer. Add some Tim Holtz glitter. Love the grit paste. Under a pile of papers likes that. Blame me if I mess up your beautiful... No, it's just paper. It all can be fixed. Lost a needle. Uh-oh. Okay. White Squirrel wants to know, Donna, if you're still here, did you seal those seashells that you made? Fun fact, I love marshmallow flavored things, but not marshmallows themselves. Tabitha, I am the same. I am not a huge fan. Grit paste looks amazing. Yay! Thank you guys so much. Okay, that is our card for this week. You guys are going to have to tell me, do we do Christmas cards next week or do we move on? Let me know. Let me know here in the chat. Let me know if you're watching the replay. Everybody watching the replay, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry for the weird little glitchiness of my stream today. It's so weird because it tells me that my stream is fine and it's excellent, but not so much. It's glitchy. Love grit paste on Santa's hats. Yes, that's a great idea. Thank you guys so much. You know what, Jackie? I think you're right. On the sleeve, I just need to grab like a little Olo that matches. That is a great idea. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful crafty weekend. If you're still Christmas shopping like I am, I hope you get it all done so that you can sit back and relax and enjoy this season. I will have a video go up a little bit later today for Vlogmas Day 12, so stay tuned for that. Christmas, I agree. I'm still feeling the Christmas. So thank you guys. I see it looks like it's overwhelming Christmas. So stay tuned. It will be Christmas themed next week again. Love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly love sharing creativity with this amazing community of crafters. A special thank you goes out to my wonderful Patreon members. I appreciate you all so much. If you'd like to join us on Patreon, you'll find the link in the video description below. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do and enjoy exclusive content, behind the scenes updates, and extra perks. There's something for everyone, and we'd love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.